Hi guys, welcome to another Chelmer Valley Maths tutorial. Mr. Gordon here. We're going to be looking at expanding some single brackets and also factorising into a single bracket as a bit of an introduction to the A-Level Edexcel course. So let's have a look. When you expand a bracket, you've got to multiply everything inside the bracket by the term that's outside. So we've got a 5 outside, so we've just simply got to times everything in the bracket by 5. So 5 times 2x is going to give me 10x, and 5 times a plus 3 is going to give me a plus 15. So we're going to end up with 10x plus 15. Next one, we've got some negative terms here, and they can be really tricky. This is where most students come undone in their working. A minus sign goes missing somewhere. So be very careful. If you've got minus 3x times 7x, well, the minus 3 times the 7, let's think about the numbers first. That's going to give me a minus result. So 3 7s are 21. So that's going to give me a minus 21. And then you've got the x times the x. Well, there's a 1 here, a power of 1 here, and a power of 1 here. We don't write the 1 in. But when you times the same base term, you just add the powers together. So 1 plus 1 is going to give me an x squared. So that's going to give me minus 21x squared. And then you've got to really be careful because this is a minus 4 in the back. The sign is always in front of the term it belongs to. So you've got minus 3x times minus 4. Well, minus 3 times minus 4 is a positive result. That's a positive 12. And then you've just got the x here. There's no other x's to consider. So that will just be plus 12x. So the final answer should be minus 21x squared plus 12x. Now I'm going to put up some other questions for you to have a go at. So pause the video and have a go at this one. And to save time, I'm just going to put up the solutions here. So hopefully you followed the rules and you ended up with that result there. Have a go at another one here. And again, let's just quickly walk through this one. So you've got 4x times 3x, so that should give you 12x squared. The second term is a minus 2x squared. So that's going to give me minus 8x cubed. And the final term, the rear term here, is a plus 5x cubed. So you're going to get 20x to the power of 4. So put those all together and it should look something like that. Part E, expand the brackets and then see if there's any terms to collect up. Pause the video and have a go. So if you've done that, you should have ended up with the first bracket would look like this. So you've got the 10x squared from these two terms, and then the plus 6x from these two terms here. And in the back, you've got the minus 10x comes from these two terms being multiplied together, and the minus 15 comes from the minus 5 and the plus 3. So you're looking for terms that you can collect. Well, the only two terms that are like terms from our previous video are the two x's. X's don't mix with x squared, and they don't mix with just numbers. So these two will be combined together to give you minus 4x. So you can write your final answer with that middle bit simplified. Moving on to factorizing. So we're just going to be looking at factorizing into a single bracket. So factorizing, it says here, is the opposite to expanding brackets. We're looking for common factors and then we're throwing them outside of the bracket. So if we look at the example here, what is common to 3x and 9? What factor? What goes into both of those terms? Well, it's going to be a 3. So if we put the 3 there, the 3's got to be thrown outside of the bracket. So what would we end up with if we had a factor of 3 taken out of these two terms? Well, 3 divided by 3 would just be 1x, and 9 divided by 3 would just be a 3. So we'd end up with 3 on the outside, our common factor goes on the outside, and each term has been divided by 3. So we've got x and a plus 3 on the inside. If you multiply this out, you would end up getting the same result here. Another example. We're looking for, again, what is the common factor here? Well, there's no numbers. There's a 1 here, but we can't. There's no point factoring out a 1 because it won't change anything. You'll just end up with the same term inside the bracket. So we're looking at the letters. And we've got x squared here, which is x times x. That's 2 x's there. And we've got an x in the rear term. So we can factor out one of those x's from each term. So our common factor is an x. That's going to go outside. And if we divided x squared by x, then we would just end up with an x. And if we divided this term, the minus 5x, by x, we'd end up with minus 5. So we'd end up with x times x minus 5. And if, again, you can check by expanding this bracket, you should end up with the terms that you started with. Part C, have a go at this one. Think about the numbers first and then look at the letters. Pause the video and have a go. So again, what are our common factors? Well, we're looking at the numbers here and we can see that the highest number, it's always best to factor out the highest number, otherwise you'll just have more work to do later on. You have to simplify again, factorize again. The highest common factor for the numbers is a 4, because 4 goes into 8 and 4 also goes into 20. I've got some x's here, I've got 2 there, and I've got 1x there, so I can factor out one of the x's from each term. So then we've got 4x, that goes outside, so divide each term by 4x and you'll end up with, well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and x squared divided by x is x, so we'll end up with the 2x in the front of the bracket, and 20 divided by 4 is 5, and x divided by x is 1, so it'll just be 5 on its own. Okay, part D, have a go at this one. I'm just going to put the answers up. You can have a go at the questions and then just check your answers. So I'll put them all up for you. Okay, just have a go at those and check that you would have got the answers that are in red there. Okay, I think then I'll know more. Okay, I hope that's helpful, and we'll start 1E in the next video.